Hello, everybody. Welcome to 48-Hour Art Check, round 58.
Wow.
It's nuts.
Yeah.
It's nuts, because this is our second time this week, which you and I have never done together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, we can just go right into it.
Oh, I should say, though, Kylie's not here.
Oh, Kylie's not here. I'm so out of it.
It's
Kylie's
okay.
not here. Kylie's just had a crazy week. She is still a part of Art Check. She's just had a crazy week, and I
Car
think
problems, which
car
is expressed.
problems.
Yeah.
Yeah, like her car getting totaled and all that stuff. And so
Yeah.
I think she's taking next week off as well, and then she'll be back, from my understanding from her text.
I thought she
She'll be
meant
back
that she'd be
soon.
back in a week.
Or she might be back Monday.
We don't know yet.
She'll
We'll
be
find
back
out.
at some point.
Yeah.
But yes, that's why Kylie's not here. Sorry, I'm like used to Wednesdays just being me and you for now.
Yeah.
And so I'm like getting used to it. I did not forget about Kylie. I'm just used to it. Anyways, what have you gotten done since our last art check?
I have finished my thingy.
Really?
Yeah. Do you
Want me
have
to
my
add your-
thingy pulled up? Yeah, that would be amazing. So I finished it. Super easy client to work with because he was like, anytime I brought something up, he's like, looks amazing. So ended up being a really quick process. So I am getting ready to send that out to him. And today, since I know that he is like satisfied with it, I made like a little thing that I can add to commissions to be like, here's how, like, I don't know, like tag me and stuff, and you go visit my website and blah, blah, blah. So yeah, that is what I have done.
That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you. And then as far as the clue, I've kind of like poked at stuff, but not enough that I think anybody would recognize the changes I made. So yeah, I did it, but I really just touched it and didn't do anything super big with it.
You're like, I know that I worked on it, but if I showed you,
nobody will believe that I worked on it.
Nobody, exactly. Okay. For me, let's pull it up. This is my little onesie design. I love it a lot. It was so fun.
It's very cute.
I was like, this isn't gonna take me that long. Getting a D20 to look like a D20.
Yeah.
I thought, because you have to figure out like how the numbers go, like how they need to, and then I wanted all the numbers to be the same size, but not all the triangles are the same. It was the D20 itself took longer than finding both of these fonts and creating it. What eventually happened is I made this D20, like, so I sketched it out and then I traced my sketch and I kind of fixed it. And then I brought a picture in and I just used the numbers off of the reference photo. And I was like, okay, this is how I'm setting up the numbers. Yeah. I don't know if this is a 6 or a 9. I don't know. My guess is it's a 6.
My guess is it's a 6 too.
Yeah, because this is all upside down.
But also, why is the 14 next to a 6? Who knows?
That's what it said to put.
Yeah.
I
literally have to go look at my dice and be like, I guess the 14 is next to the 6. Why is that?
And my dice, my one set here is packed, and then my other 5 sets are in the next part. I'm like, wow, the one time I didn't need it. Anyway, so this will be getting printed, and then I'll have it to show on Monday.
Ooh, cool.
Yeah, so it'll be printed and made. And the hard thing about this is that I can't post on my Instagram. I can't post what I'm working on because she would see it, because she's like she's a really good friend of mine, and she like follows all my stuff and is like super supportive. She just they don't really know how to find the YouTube. I never send them the link or anything. And so I was like, okay, I'm happy that she doesn't watch this so I can make it. But yeah, the dad is super into D&D, the mom's super into Harry Potter. So yeah, and then I thought of this other one that I don't know if I'm gonna. The main thing is if I have time tonight to make it, I'm gonna do it. But I kind of want one to be like, my dad rolled or I rolled a 20, or I rolled a nat 20 in cuteness or something.
Yes.
Like, I think it would be so, because I already have the dice. You know, I already had the die. I could literally just copy it over and do that. And so he might get it. His name is JT. Well, his name is James Thomas, and I asked them if I could call him JT, and they said I could. So, but the little boy, he's not born yet. But yeah, so I might make one that says I rolled a nat 20 in cuteness.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. And
have you seen, totally unrelated, have you seen those TikToks where it's like you're about to do an activity and then you roll and it's always a 1? And so like eating cereal, like you roll a 1 and you just have to like smash your face into the cereal. There's one where he's like, okay, about to go down the stairs, and then he rolls and he just like swan dives off into the snow. It's really good. It's really good.
Yeah. See, that stuff, I find those things funny. I do follow that stuff on TikTok. But yeah, I kind of want to make something like that. And on the note that you just went on, I sent this meme to the group a while ago, and now that stuff's reopening, and like once it kind of calms down a little bit more, anybody that plays D&D will appreciate this. But you go to an escape room and you act like your character in the escape room.
Okay.
And it would be so fun.
I would have to learn how to pickpocket.
Well, you can't, it's not necessarily that, but you like act in that personality, and I feel like I would have the most fun in my life being able to be my character.
Imagine me just making all these failed attempts, reaching into people's pockets during the whole thing, and just being like, I mean, I don't know, I don't care, I just want to steal stuff.
I would be in there like climbing on top of stuff. They're like, you can't climb, and it's like, but can I?
We go, maybe there's a potion up there.
Like those ones that have like 2 rooms. The funny thing is I would have to be a lot more fearless, because I worked in an escape room. Yeah, I worked in an escape room one time. This is a complete side tangent, but we're going to go here. I worked in an escape room one time in Rexburg. This escape house closed, but I was friends with this guy, and he just needed like, it was $20 a game. I think I only did it once or twice, but it was $20 a game. And I showed up and just covered myself in paint, and I was hidden in this room. And so I can't do live actor escape rooms. My PTSD goes nuts. We did it once, and I like about lost because I just wasn't expecting it. And it was like somebody in a ski mask just like coming towards me. And I was like,
so do you not do haunted houses either?
No, it literally, if I know that they can't touch me, sometimes I'm fine. But if they reach at me, like it's abuse it's physical abuse, PTSD, some of it. And so if somebody's reaching towards me, like I just can freak out. So I don't like Halloween.
I love Halloween.
I love like Halloween parties and like trunk or treats, like, and that's like but like I love like the idea of all that stuff, and like little kid Halloween parties and those things. But haunted houses, I will go with my friends. I just can't go in.
Yeah.
Because I literally will like cry.
You don't know what's going to happen. Yeah.
There was one time I went and I got chased by somebody with an axe or a chainsaw.
I can't do chainsaws. That's the one thing.
I got chased by and like there was somebody in a cage, and like I just about lost. It was like a dare in high school, and it's the last one that I went through, which is saying something.
Yeah.
I'm almost I turned 21 this month.
Yeah.
Like I was like junior in high school, maybe. And yeah, I just like ever since then I just don't do escape rooms. But anyways, I was in this hidden room, and like my face is painted white, my eyes are like black. I'm wearing a green shirt that I've taken red paint and put like bloody handprints all over it. And they have to walk through this locker, and all that they've been told is there's a zombie, and if the zombie touches you, you lose 5 minutes or 5 seconds. And they don't know where I'm at. So I'm hiding in the corner, and they come in, and I just yell. And this girl ripped her boyfriend's shirt off of him because I freaked her out.
Because she like jerked so hard? Are you serious?
His shirt was literally like, and then the thing is that I was able to bother them the rest of the game. And the chicks were freaked out because like they knew I wasn't a real like zombie, obviously, but the lights were like flickering and it was like super dark. And I'm the type of person where I kept hiding in the room. Like when they would go to the other room, I'd go hide. And so I would like jump out at them, like crawl around, all of it.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, she ripped, and I don't know if it was her boyfriend or they were like on like a second date. So I really hope that they were dating. But she like freaked out and grabbed his shirt and just like freaked out. And he walks out, and you can just see his shirt is like pretty much ripped like in half, like barely held
so
together.
Crazy. I was a scarer once. I had this act where I just walked around waiting for people to show up, and I would be crying with my hands like covering my face, and I'd wait until a big enough crowd for him to be like, "Are you okay? Are you like?" Because I was in normal clothes, like black clothes, but normal clothes, and then I'd just like scream, and I had like blood tears, and then I went to the grocery store afterwards like that. It was great. I just walked around being like, it was my face covered, and people thought I was actually crying, which is crazy.
Yeah. No, I can't do scary movies. In high school, when I was in 10th grade, so 11th grade is the last time that I went. 10th grade, we were in San Antonio at a band competition, and we were given these tickets, and the tickets either got us into the haunted house or got us into like the Ripley's like Museum of Weird Things.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And so I was waiting with my friends outside the haunted house because I was like, oh, you know what? I'm fine. Like, nobody's going to bother me outside of the haunted house. Clown.
Yeah.
Got up right behind me. I lost it and sprinted. And my knee is like super messed up at this point.
So
I sprinted down the street, like out of, because they had to hit a point where they couldn't go.
Yeah.
I kid you not, and like my band director and just like all of the kids just watch me freaking, like my leg is wrapped, just up and sprint down the street.
Oh my gosh!
Like I was literally about to lose my mind. I was like about to like cry. Like I can't do people that would. And the thing is that they were allowed to touch you too.
Oh. I went to a weird haunted house.
It was, and he breathed right in my ear. Like he just kind of got up behind me and went, and I turned, and there was a clown freaking right here.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I went to one where they could touch you, and we had to go in with groups. It was kind of like a we might not touch you type thing, but it was like you don't sign anything. Like, or it was like, anyways, and you had to go in with groups of 3. So this random child went in with me and like my blind date, and the scarers kept stealing the child, like picking him up and running away with him. And we had to go back to go find this child and rescue him. And eventually we made like a child Oreo. So like I was in the front, and like the kid was just behind me, and then he wrapped around both of us. So we just made this like, you can't steal the child anymore without stealing like literally all 3 of us. It was the strangest thing ever.
Was the kid okay?
Yeah. Like he was there for a long time by himself waiting for more people to show up. So I kind of wonder if he was like the owner's child or something. Like he was not traumatized at all. He was like every time they dragged him, he'd be like, help me. Like, like he'd be fine. But super weird.
See, no, if a scarer grabbed me, I would just sit down. I would just sit down and freak out and just like completely like, oh, it gives it like my hand is like shaking just thinking. I don't like haunted houses. I don't like haunted movies. I just
like scary stuff.
Nope. Like for Halloween, I will be Spider-Man. That will be who I am on Halloween. But like I can't, like I won't go to haunted houses. I won't, just like people can't touch me. It freaks me out. Like I get freaked out if somebody's just watching me walk through the house like in a cage. I just get yep.
You're like, nope, I can't handle it right now.
Yes. So we've gone way off track.
Yes. If we talk about Halloween, I'm going to talk about it for a really long time.
You know what? I don't know if Halloween's on a Monday or Wednesday, but we're talking about it.
Yes.
And the next day we'll talk about Dia de los Muertos, because I love Dia de los Muertos. That's
so cool. Crazy because my husband spent a lot of time in Mexico, and now he hates seeing it. He's like, every time something about Mexico is in a movie, it's always that. It's never anything else. I can't handle it.
That's fair. I just love it. It's so cool. And like, I don't celebrate it, obviously. Like, that's just not like, first off, I don't
Yeah.
really know how to properly celebrate it. Secondly, it's just not something that people do.
And it's also a huge community thing. Like, it involves going to
Exactly.
your family's graves and bringing flowers and like there's festival type stuff. Yeah.
It's such an amazing holiday, though. It's super cool. But yeah, as Frank just said,
I was about to say, yeah. I think that's our cue.
that's our cue. Halloween is on a Friday, so that Wednesday.
Oh yes.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
actually
yes.
awesome. That means that like schoolwork, we're gonna be fine. But that Wednesday, we'll just do a Halloween episode. I'll show up in my Spider-Man costume, and I'll just do the art check with my mask on the whole time.
Yeah, I'll just grab my witch hat is right over on my
That's
shelf
what you
right
did.
now.
That's what you did fall semester when we were
Because
in
it was
class
my
together.
first year with the black cat, and I was like, I have to. My hair was white too. I had white hair. I had to be a witch. Yeah.
Yeah, I was a gangster. Yeah, I was a gangster. I was a 1920s gangster. Anyways, continuing on. But I wasn't in costume that morning because I didn't feel like getting ready for the day. And my boyfriend at the time, like, nobody really knew that we were dating. And we weren't trying to, like, keep it hidden, but we were just like, it's awkward if people know that we're dating because we work together. Anyways, challenges. What's been going on? Subtle transition.
Yeah. I don't feel like I've had any. I mean, I guess I've been very distracted because of all the craziness going on. I've been drawing with my phone in my hand on Twitter. So, and then I will casually, like, either I'm listening to a video while I'm drawing, and then I start scrolling for like a half hour. Yesterday, I listened to, there was like an Open with the City Zoom meeting of LA. Insane. It was prime.
Wow.
Lots of just roasting. It was just an all-day roast. It was amazing. So listening to videos from that, and then like, drawing, and then being like, okay, that's over. Now I need to scroll forever and ever. Yeah, there's a little bit of that yesterday for sure.
Okay. Yeah, you and I are opposite. But we already talked about that. That'll actually be part of our topic today. But my challenges were just as you guys can tell, my whiteboards are down. They're gone because I'm packing. They're right there.
My cat is being crazy right now. Sorry.
I don't know. Yeah, so, and it's been like nuts, just like homework. I showed Emily like my homework calendar. Like I've done almost
Sorry.
It's okay. I've done like so much homework in the past like week. It's since Monday even. It's just been crazy. And packing, I just don't like the anticipation of moving. I actually don't mind packing. I don't mind any of it. But when you're moving and you still are using your stuff, it's really hard to figure out what you can pack until like the night before. But I don't like to do stuff the night before when I pack. So it's like really hard because I'm like, okay, I need to get everything where I would need my second desktop monitor done, like completely out of the way. So yeah, that's just been it. And then yeah, social media, it's a crazy time right now, but that's going into our topics.
Yeah.
Next art check. What are you gonna do by Monday?
Monday. That's plenty of time. I will probably have those profile things of each suspect and clue all done.
Okay.
And probably start scheduling stuff to post.
Ooh.
Yeah.
By next Monday for me, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think. It's really hard because of packing. That onesie is going to be printed out and made. And like actually on a onesie. That's my goal, is just to get the stuff to get it printed. If I happen to make another onesie, that would be awesome. If I happen to have more free time, I want to work on my D&D character a little bit probably. But yeah, that's kind of it. Where that's kind of everything that I'm gonna sign up to do is just get that onesie made and printed and able to show on next art check.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, but it's gonna be an interesting day too next art check because that's when my best friend gets into town. And so she knows that I do this. I'm gonna be like, hey, dude, you can chill out in my room while I do this. But yeah. So, anyways, our topic, I forgot to change the little thing because I was like, oh yeah, we're doing social media. We're not doing social media today, because Kylie's not here.
Yeah. And she probably knows the most out of both of us about this stuff.
Yes, and we also wanted to bring James Rognan on, and that's my bad because I totally talked to him yesterday. Forgot, just completely forgot. We had a very interesting conversation about something else, and completely blanked that I said, "Oh yeah, I'll ask him to join us." And so, yeah, and it probably won't be next Monday either. It'll probably wind up being not next week, but the week after that we finish it. But we will have part 3. We're just going to talk about art helping. And we just kind of want to talk about what's going on a little bit, and how we as artists are using art to help in our own lives, like help to cope with everything, how we're seeing people use art in the community. All of that is just kind of like a very broad statement. It's just very broad. It's a very broad topic. Life is crazy right now. And Emily knows a lot more, so I'm going to let Emily kick it off. I'm an avoider. We'll just start with that.
Yeah. Well, so I guess this is a thing. When you brought this up, I was like, immediately feelings of falling short because I don't feel like I saw one of my friends who has a shop being like, I want to donate stuff through my store. Like if I can use my store to help, then I want to. And like kind of talking with the computer, I don't know where it went, but I remember seeing a thing of like, should I make merch and maybe you buy the merch and then all the proceeds go to like, what do you want me to see you do? And I felt like I could help, and I'm not in the position where I can do something monetarily, other than just donate my own personal funds,
Yeah.
And so, yeah, but I've seen other artists do that. There's this girl, I probably shared her on the episode where we talked about accounts that we like to follow. Her name's Audra Claire. She is making this cool piece that I want to buy because it looks really awesome, but it's also, the proceeds are going to be donated. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll chime in. Sorry, I was responding to one of Ronnie's comments because I just saw it, and I feel really bad because I didn't respond to it earlier.
Okay.
But it's hard for me because so on my mental health page, I made this video and like I didn't cry during it or anything, but like this topic hits home for me, and I'm just not somebody that gets like I don't really have political opinions. I'm kind of like a neutral person. This is more of like a humanity type issue, but I just try to keep that off of my social media. And so for me, it's been really hard because on my mental health art page, or not art page, on my mental health Insta, I was like, hey guys, I'm actually just going to take a week off completely from posting. So you're not going to see me. You're not going to see my stuff. Like I'm just too uneducated to make comments about this, all this stuff. And I'm not complaining, but I have stopped looking at my Instagram message because some people took that as an invite to start kind of spamming my inbox with like everything about the issue. And I was like, okay, like I want to learn, but my mental health can't handle news articles on my phone every minute. Like I start to compare myself to other people. I wonder, am I doing enough? All this stuff. I've considered making artwork about it. But I posted the black square on my art Instagram page and I lost followers.
That's really weird.
Right? I lost a follower on
Those
my
people are
page too.
unfollowing a lot of people right now.
Yeah. And it's just interesting too because so I have this portfolio piece up, and if you saw the 50th art check that we did with Corey, you'll know what I'm talking about. But I have this sticker set, and it's a NYPD sticker set that I made, and in it has like this shield. There's this thing called Thin Blue Line. It's cops' lives matter, and I'm not trying to get into any political territory. I'm not trying to defend the cops that did what happened. I'm not trying to defend racist people. None of it. And I would like to make that very clear. I made that sticker set, and like I have friends whose parents or like dad is a cop and like all that kind of stuff. And I've been like considering like, do I need to take this down like off of my portfolio? Like, is this now going to be something that might keep me from getting hired?
Yeah.
And it's like really weird. Like it's literally on my water bottle. Like it's right there. Like it's like, and so now I'm like, are people going to think that I'm inherently like this awful person because I made this sticker a year ago and I like the look of it? Like it's a nice sticker. And so it's just really weird. And so for me, like that's been a lot of like, I don't want to make any art about what's going on right now. Simply because times change. And I don't want to make art that
is a bad look next year.
Yeah, that is a bad look next year. Or I don't want to say like I care more about getting a job than I do about this movement, because I don't. But I don't want it to stop me from getting jobs in the future.
Yeah.
Just looking at like my future. And I realize, I hope that nobody thinks I'm like being awful right now.
I mean, to kind of speak up, I am going hard with, whatever the rioters say, I'm gonna back them up because it's their problem. But I get that people are put into a complicated situation where maybe their family members or somebody they know is a cop and they want to support them, but they also want to support the movement. Or there's just a ball of complicated feelings right now of, how do I say that, the people who work there, there's some bad apples, but how do I say that the people that work there, most of them did it with good intentions, and that it's a system that's broken, but not necessarily people. Like, how do you say that without hordes jumping on you? Because to be honest, it's all complicated, and there's certain aspects that are nuanced that people can't handle in this stage right now. Like, right now, to be like, saying cop lives matter or all lives matter, while they matter,
that's not the movement right now.
That would start a whole fire of all these other things that probably you didn't mean. And so it's complicated. It's super complicated. And it's usually the only way you can get masses to be on board with something that's changed is to put it into a black and white and then talk about the gray after the fact.
Yeah. And it's been hard too, because I don't even think I've shared my shield on my Instagram, but I was coming up with this content calendar. I was like, oh, you know what? I want to feature my sticker set. Then this happened and I was like,
nope. Yeah.
I was like, no, and it's hard for me too, because I actually had a tweet up that I went through and deleted. You and I have talked about this a bunch, but one like thing that I've kind of always wanted to do that I just can't do because I wouldn't pass the psych eval. But I've wanted to be like a cop. I've wanted to kind of work my way up and be a detective. And I had tweeted about it like a month ago.
Yeah.
And this happened. And I don't know if I thought I should go delete it or I did. I'm pretty sure I did go delete it. And I was like, I'm just going to go back in my tweets and delete that. And like, it's just been crazy. But for me, like, I've wanted to make artwork. I've thought about it. I've wanted to do a lot of things. I've wanted to make a lot of posts. But one, I don't think I have the words to perfectly portray what I want to. Like, just even what I'm saying right now is making me really nervous that somebody's like interpreting it wrong.
Yeah. Luckily, we do not have hundreds upon thousands of people watching this. It would be a huge story, and we would probably stay quiet for knowing, like, otherwise it would have to be scripted ahead of time to make sure that we weeded out every single thing that could be misconstrued.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
this is just us chatting. Yeah.
Yeah. And like the people that are on here, like they've been following us for a while, so they know that we're not trying, like if something,
we're not trying to,
yeah. But so for me, like what I've been kind of throwing into my art has been like avoiding it, like complete opposite. I listened to Corey's art check today, and they were kind of talking about, they weren't necessarily like relating to art, but they were just talking about like the challenges and stuff. And so I had him playing in the background, him and Mike Emirates, and I was working on like my little D&D thing. And it was good because like I was learning stuff. And the thing is, if like all news, like if they could just like sum up like a lot of like the big issues going on, I would just listen to it because there's no like hate going on in that chat. Like it's just like straight up like, okay, like here's our opinions, da-da-da. And it wasn't even like super opinionated either. It was like, so this is what's going on. But I was listening to that and I was working on my D&D thing, or like yesterday was Blackout Tuesday. I posted my Blackout Tuesday thing and then I hopped off of social media for the day because I was like, okay, like at first I was like, this is awesome, this is great. And then I saw that people's Instagram stories were like 20 or 30 slides long of like leading you all to different links.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, like I want to learn, but like if you posted the black square on your news feed, that means that you're like blacking out your social media for that day. Like that whole thing. And so I just kind of hopped off social media. You and I were discussing the fact that it seems like Facebook has kind of moved on from it. Where like Facebook is just kind of, thank you. I want to follow your state. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for not unsubscribing. But I'm kind of okay that this is where it gets tricky. I'm not okay that people on Facebook seem to be over the movement because I feel like this movement honestly should be an ongoing thing that never ends. Like
until everything's fixed.
Yes, Black Lives Matter. Every person matters, no matter what. I'm not trying to do like hashtag all lives matter. I'm just saying like every person matters. And the fact that people's lives are at stake because of what they look like is wrong. But for me and my mental health, I'm kind of okay that there's a platform that I can go on to where I'm able to see, where I'm not bombarded. I'm able to see the funny stuff still. I was talking to my boss and he was like, yeah, I got off of TikTok actually because it was nuts. Everything that I was seeing was just depressing. And
it's only, the For You page is only about that right now.
See, everybody else's is, but I steer so far away from political stuff on my TikTok that my For You page is still just humorous content.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, because anytime that I see something negative, I just swipe straight past it, just because I can't handle it, and then I'll like all the funny stuff after it, because I mess with the algorithm intentionally, so I don't see that stuff. And like, I don't. Yeah, and I just don't go to like my following, like the people that I follow. I just don't go watch their stuff because I know like they have a lot of opinions, and I'm happy that they do. I just don't necessarily go on there because for me, I just need like I use social media to escape. I use my art to escape, and like so for me, it's like having TikTok and then having Facebook is really nice, especially because I love Instagram. That's my favorite social media platform. And I've steered completely clear from Instagram and Twitter. Like I have not been on Twitter in 2 weeks. I don't think really? I've even clicked on it. Mm-hmm.
I've been, I would definitely say right now that nobody on Twitter is ready for escapism yet. And so it is fire over there. It is charged. And so, for me, I use social media mostly to get the 411 of like what's going on.
I use you to get the 411.
Yeah. So I go on Twitter and I get that the political scene right now. And then Facebook is more of my escapism because that's where I've like been like, hey, show me all the tasty videos.
Mhm.
But like, yeah, yeah, for
I
me, yeah, I just want to stay as informed as possible. We've had opposite experiences.
Yeah, well, and that's not the and I feel like this is so controversial to me for me to say half of this stuff because a lot of people would be like, well, that's your white privilege, like for not learning and not educating yourself, and that's wrong. My thing is, I want to educate myself. I want to learn. I have been like I've been asking people questions and like, but the thing is like I'm aware that I'm going into those conversations. I'm not being bombarded because when I feel bombarded, this was like a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, but there were like really awful fires going on in the Amazon.
Mm.
And I had just gotten on Twitter for the first time. And I just got so depressed because every single tweet was like, you guys are all awful because you're going about your normal lives and you're not focusing on this. And like every single tweet. And I like didn't sleep that night. I went downstairs to my mom and I was like, are we bad people? And she was like, what? And I was like, this is what's going on. She's like, fires happen every year. And I was like, oh, I was like I'm just like such like a bright-eyed, like shiny-eyed little kid when it comes to that stuff. Just and so yeah, I've had to completely just steer off of Twitter and off of all that stuff. And then like I ask you stuff. Like I ask Kylie stuff. I ask my black friends, like I ask them. I'm like, okay, what's going on? And like I just kind of get aware those ways. And like I have friends that have been protesting. You're not supposed to say rioting. I saw that today. I have friends that have been protesting.
Didn't know that. Thank you.
You're welcome. It's because rioting is a negative connotation and protesting is more positive. So I have friends that are involved in protests, and I've always been like, just please stay safe. I'm like, just like, I shouldn't have to be saying this to you, but I'm going to because if something happens, I'll feel like I should have said something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, but yeah. So, like, I think it's interesting that artists they're not necessarily capitalizing off of this, but some people are using art right now and it's like they're kind of because of what they're posting, they're probably gaining so many followers right now.
Yeah. Well, and it's so for me, I intentionally on Instagram used no hashtags when I made my announcement. I didn't do the black square because I caught on too late that that's like the way that you do that. I did like a Black Lives Matter thing. Like I wrote a click. It's not calligraphy because it's super messy. It's in my own handwriting, but like doing that and then just expressing what I felt. And then not really responding to stuff afterwards. It didn't feel appropriate. And just like, but it is strange because there's a lot of nuance on Twitter, like talking about artists who are, or just companies who are taking the moment to save face or to capitalize on it. And it's strange because it's hard to tell who's being genuine of, I want to make more art about this because I feel passionate about this versus this is a very pertinent topic right now. So I'm going to talk about it. And then more people will find my work. You know, there's a very fine line and it's very hard to tell who is feeling what in that situation. And so for me, I was just like, I'm just going to butt out of this. I'm going to retweet stuff and I'm going to share stuff on Facebook. But original content for me, not right now. I don't know how to walk the tightrope right now. And then for you, like, just I was thinking about what you said about, you know, you're slowly educating yourself, but to have all the information forced on you, I can understand. Like, I've been in situations where I was just not having a good day. That stuff made me shut down, not do anything. And so for me, I just was lucky that the fire was in my belly, you know, and not so much that I was so disappointed and depressed that I couldn't do something that I felt like would help, you know.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like a luck of the draw. It could have been presented to me in a different way that made me shut down. It could have, but
Yeah.
I had the fire lit and I was just like, yeah, like, let's go, and
Yeah.
this is different. It's
And
different.
and some people are making artwork. There's a very specific piece of artwork that I've seen so many times on my newsfeed that just made me feel like absolute trash. And so that's when I got off of Instagram. But there's like some really amazing artwork out there. Like people are doing like portraits of like George Floyd, and they're doing like all of these really cool things. Photographers are doing some amazing work right now. And like they're going
for it.
Yeah. And that's completely, but
yeah.
And some photographers,
right?
Yeah. And some I've seen like, so on TikTok, I follow some photographers, and this guy, like, he didn't go to any of the protests, but he found this pair of friends, and it was a black girl and a white girl. And he was like, hey, if you don't want to do this, that's fine, but I would like to use you guys to make some photography. And so he did like this really cool photo shoot, like extremely like powerful, like that whole thing. But there's been this specific piece of artwork, and if anybody else has seen this, let me know. But it's like a calligraphy type thing. It's not like pretty calligraphy. It's like these bubble letters, and it's all kind of like weird looking, and it's like different. I mean, I'm colorblind, so the colors are kind of trippy to me. But it's like, if you're staying silent right now, you're as bad as the oppressors. And that piece of artwork has popped up on my Instagram at least 10 times.
Taunting you.
Yeah. Like completely. And like, it's very hateful, that piece of artwork is. And so I was like, first off, like, I'm really glad that you're getting shares. Like, that's great for your engagement rate. From a social media standpoint, that's playing the zeitgeist. That's awesome. But like, some people are using artwork right now, like, not to share a message, but to spread hate.
And anger. There's a lot of anger right now. And it's, I want to say well placed, or it's coming from a right place, right?
Yes.
It's righteous anger, right?
Righteous, yeah.
Yeah. But it's so different when you say it to every single person on the planet. You know what I mean? It falls differently on different ears. And I would say generally silence in this situation could mean a lot of things. It could mean that you don't care and you're trying to not show people that you don't care. It could mean that you are not educated yet. It could mean this. It could mean that. It could mean that you're overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And you can't yet.
And for me to see artists that are like capitalizing off of that hate instead of trying to share a message, because I thought about, I really did. I thought about creating something for this movement. I thought about some cool things that I could make. And I just couldn't, like, once I saw like how this artwork was being used, because not even that, but people were taking people's Instagrams and then clicking on it so you can't see the beginning of their caption, and then basically captioning it themselves.
Oh.
Like, do you know what I'm talking about? On a story, so you can hit share, and then you can add it to your story. And then if you click it, it'll show up their comment. If you unclick it, it will just show the picture. And then they were kind of captioning it themselves.
Oh.
And so then I was like, if I made artwork right now, first off, like, zeitgeist, yeah, that'd be cool. Like, but I don't want to gain followers from that just because I'm making something. But two, like, I don't want my artwork to be taken out of
context.
Out of context. Exactly. Yeah. And so, like, art, it's just interesting because art is up to people's interpretations. It's up to, like, how do you want it to help? What do you want it to do? But then if you post it, then that's other
you lose
people
control of what happens to it after that. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just it's interesting to me, just like to watch artists kind of do all this stuff and, kind of work off of that. And like, there's some like amazing things. Like, if somebody made a comic strip, and because I know we have some people watching right now that are from the hundreds, they're from the 100 Days making comics. if somebody makes a comic strip, it's a lot harder to take a comic strip out of context because it's a strip, it's telling a story. But like just a single like vector, like a single illustration, that's really easy to take out of context without any type of typography in there.
The things that I have seen that have been the most useful have been infographic style slides. Like, it's meant for Instagram, you can tell, but it works like an infographic. So there's been a few of them that I've seen about white privilege or just white people. Here's how you can help. And it's resources, it's research based, it's educational, but it's also artwork. It's made by, if they're not an illustrator, then they're a designer, you know. So they're still artists. And I've seen those have been some of the best things that I've seen, where it's like I get to look at artwork, which is usually why I go on social media. So it's comforting, but also it's blended in with current events and it's educational, and it gives me statistics that I can work with when I'm trying to explain to somebody white privilege. And so, yeah, those things have been really amazing. And I've seen it narrowed down to specific subcultures now, where it's like, if you are in this subculture, here are specific problems you're going to have. Here are specific ways to deal with them, you know? And so, yeah, I think those have been the best things I've seen. And then artwork that is used for a fundraiser, those have been like my favorite things to see so far. Yeah.
I think it's like just hard, like especially all the white privilege stuff. So for me, I lived not under a rock, but you know a little bit about how I grew up. It like for me, like in high school, like I had black friends, like I hung out with everybody. My roommate at my first college was black and like literally one of my favorite people. And then I got up to BYUI, and it's the same thing.
And in this pasty country here, though.
It is, but I somehow would always get put in like the groups, like with
that did not happen to me.
I have quite a few black friends from BYUI, and I love them. One of them was my roommate. Another one was just in a comms class with me, and like her and I still talk a bunch. But like even then, like it wasn't really a shock for me because I lived like in like a rich neighborhood where I'm at, and I lived right outside of it, but I got to go to the high school. Does that make sense? I got to go to like the nice high school. I lived outside of the neighborhood though. But so for me, like I hate saying I didn't see color because I feel like that's wrong, but I hope that you guys know what I mean by that. And
it wasn't something you paid attention to.
It wasn't something that I paid attention to because it's just like, for me, like people are people. I'm going to hang out with who I want to hang out with. Like that's that. Sorry, everybody. And so now like I'm seeing all this stuff where like you have white privilege and you have this and you have that. And so for me, it's just been like a complete eye opener because I just personally, like my brain just thinks differently than a lot of people's would. And so I've just never thought of it that way. And like, it's like heartbreaking for me to see all of this stuff. And so like, also just like for me to make artwork on it, I don't even know where I would begin because I don't think that I am educated enough to make a piece of artwork about it. And then also
the same way. I've made something and deleted it and been like, who am I to say this? Like, I am not struggling. I don't feel right.
Yeah, especially because I feel like for me, like I'm trying to choose my words very carefully because I know that this is being posted and this is live and my words can be taken out of context. I was not aware of this issue until it was all over my social media. Not because of my ignorance, but simply because, like, not because I'm avoiding it, but simply just because I didn't know. Like, that's just like nothing that I've ever been told. And so now I feel like if I were to make artwork, that would just be me like all of a sudden jumping into the movement or like all of a sudden like, and like I just feel like weird. And so I'm just using my artwork like to just steer away from it completely.
There's been a lot of people that I've seen that have been like, I was wrong all the way up until now, and I'm sharing it with you. You're not like alone in being that way. And the other thing is like crazy cases aside in which people who should have been punished for crimes but were overlooked because they didn't look rough enough, that kind of stuff aside,
Yeah.
White privilege is really hard to see because every person should have it.
Yes.
Like it's not, in my mind, it's not a privilege because it wasn't ever supposed to be. It was supposed to be everybody was supposed to be treated like this way.
Yeah.
Like like the fact that, a Black person can walk through a gated community in which they live and get pulled over being asked, why are you here? Don't you know that this is a gated community?
Mhm.
That's wrong. And that hasn't happened to me.
Yeah.
So it's hard to see because it's like, well, I didn't realize that people didn't have basic rights. You know what I mean? To be treated like a human being. Bruno's here, obviously. And so it's hard to see because it's something that everybody deserves.
Mhm.
Like it's hard to say that you're really fortunate for having parents that loved you, right? When you realize, because every person should have parents that love them, or it's like, this is
Mhm.
beyond just that, like,
Yeah.
we in America don't realize how privileged we are that we get to eat 3 meals a day because we think every person should eat 3 meals. Oh my gosh.
He wants attention right now.
Yes. And so that's something that I had to explain to my husband. I was like talking about white privilege. He's like, I don't get it. Like, I don't see it. And I was like, you don't see it because everybody's supposed to have it. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just it's so interesting just because of the stuff that you brought up. Now I'm like thinking about other things. But it's very, one second, I'm trying to gather my words.
That's okay.
Sorry guys. I'm like trying to be genuine and honest and open, but I also I'm so aware of the power that words can have.
Of everything.
Yes. I just think it's very interesting too because like it's very easy for us to like generalize that whole kind of thing. And so it's like, well, this cop was bad, so now all cops are bad. Or like, this person committed a crime, so now their whole family is associated with that crime type of thing.
Bruno's rubbing the corner of my, yeah. Anyways,
but it's just like, it's so interesting to see like all of these generalized things.
Yeah.
I was talking to somebody who I look up to, and I was talking to them, and I was like, I don't have opinions. I was like, I just like, I have opinions on this because it's a humanity issue, but I don't have enough opinions that I feel like I could speak. And they were like, what? And I was like, yeah, well, I hang out with like Emily and Kylie and all these other people.
They have opinions.
I was like, they have opinions and I don't. And I tell them that. And I feel like I'm behind. And they were like, how old are you? I was like, I'm about to be 21. They're like, I didn't have opinions when I was your age either. I was like, it's when you're 20 or 21, you're all of a sudden thrown into this gray world that you didn't know was gray.
You're just absorbing and sitting and processing it
all at once, especially right now, because it's like with COVID and with this and with all this other stuff, everything has been politics for the past 6 months of my life. And I'm like, and I'm also one of those people, because I study social media, I know how the algorithms work. So every time that I read an article, I'm like, I know that there's another side to this. And then I feel like I have to go look up the other side. I have to educate myself on both sides. And it's just interesting because like I saw this thing right before we got on, and it was like, right now, if you're one of those people that's saying like cops' lives matter, or if you're saying all lives matter, like that, you're missing the point. And I was like, okay, you know what, that makes sense. Like that does. And so I'm trying to be like respectful without being political or being anything else. Like the closest that I'm going to get on my art page is I posted the black square and I said Blackout Tuesday, and that's it. That's it. But it's also just been interesting. It's just talking about art again. I was doing this photography challenge with my boss, And every week you did a photography post. And so I was like, so Monday, I was sitting there and I was like, did he post? Like, are we supposed to still be doing this week? Because I was like sitting there, I was like, are we supposed to be still? And it's my boss too, so I was gonna see him the next day. But I was like, are we supposed to do this? But he posted on Monday, so I went over to his page, and all of a sudden there was a black square. I was like, what the heck? I was on FaceTime with my friend, and she refreshes her page, and she's like, I now have 8 black squares. And we were like, what is going on? And I went to work with him the next day, and I was like, are we still doing this? Or like, are we just kind of taking a break? He's like, we're taking the week off. I was like, sweet, I can take the week off. That will be nice. But yeah, it's interesting to see how everybody's differently reacting to it. Like, some people are going completely silent on social media. Some people are spamming me. Some people are spamming everybody. Frank said, it makes you grateful for what you took for granted. I'm Hispanic, but I live where the majority is Hispanic, so I've never had discrimination because of my skin color. His life hasn't been a bed of roses, but I never had to go through that. Yeah. And it's just interesting. Sorry, I'm like thinking about something that you said and I just can't. But
we're in the middle. This episode is taking place in the middle of us processing stuff.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say. We're in the middle of educating ourselves. We're in the middle of processing and grieving even.
And I want to say, like, we're 2 white people. Like, we're
huge part of it. We're 2 white people. Grain of rice people. We're 2 white people because we have not had the struggles. We've seen the struggles, but we have not had them.
Mm-hmm.
And the learning process of just recognizing our whiteness, learning that we're not default, we are our own thing, which is white, and it comes with different things.
Yeah.
And learning about other people, that's where we're at in the middle of it.
Yeah.
So take that into account when this video is like 5 years old.
Yeah.
We're in the middle of
We're in the middle of it, and we're in the middle of learning. You just had made an analogy that made me think. But just like
could you not tell?
No, when I was in
I got sunburnt for driving, so yeah, I got sunburnt driving for a half hour. Yes, I am very white.
When I was in marching band, I was tanner, but I was still. My older brother looks Hispanic when he's tanned, but that's about it. Like, yeah, I'm very white. I'm Italian.
No, I'm just European white. Like I'm I'm the
Italian,
pastiest of the pasty. Yeah.
I'm Italian, and so I get like the olive color when I tan, but I also
get the pink color when I tan.
I live in Idaho, so I don't tan anymore because I just stay inside because it's cold. You just made this analogy and it just kind of put everything in perspective for me. But you had just said it's kind of like when you look around and you're like, everybody should have that basic human right of certain things, and you just don't think about it. And yeah, like you just think like everybody should have just the basic human rights. Like it should just.
But the appalling part is discovering that people do not have it as good as you think everybody should have it.
Especially, yeah. And being on the flip side of just somebody that realized, like, somebody that has grown up and then realized, like, oh, wait, other people had this right and I didn't, about other stuff that you know. But it's really hard when you, like, realize that at first. And I feel like sometimes, like, some people are starting to realize it now, like, in my age group. And so that's why they're, like, spamming me and, like, doing all this stuff, because I feel like they didn't quite realize beforehand, like, wait, other people have this right. What the heck? Why don't we?
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like that's a lot of the reason why it's a bunch of 20-year-olds out there right now, 21-year-olds. I feel like that's part of the reason why a bunch of people are out there right now. You know, does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, and I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong, but I know some people
not
that I
them.
know. Yeah, because we're not them. But I do know some people. But yeah, it was well said, Emily.
Thank you.
Yeah, and then he said, my wife and in-laws are all Hispanic. People look at us because I'm a ginger having an olive skinned 24-year-old calling me Uncle Ronnie. That's awesome. Yeah, but it's just it's nuts. So that's kind of it. I mean, we've been going for an hour. So yeah, take everything that we said with a grain of salt. That's just us processing and talking about stuff. And we did relate it to art throughout the
A little
episode.
bit, but mostly we're processing the statewide, countrywide trauma that everybody is experiencing right now.
Yeah,
so
and we wanted to, and beforehand we had discussed, like, are we just going to kind of talk about this? And we had agreed, yeah. But yeah, it's just nuts. I mean, I still wanted to do art check. You did too, just because we want to, you know. Also, we have people in the chats who are able to talk about stuff now too with each other, and like, there's definitely conversations going on there.
We watch you guys talk to each other. Yeah,
we do. It's like, so if anybody's ever been in StreamYard, it's just like along the side of your screen, everybody's comments pop up. But yeah, so thanks for contributing, everybody. And yeah, if you want to see my stuff, go to @diuguidvisuals. It is on Twitter and Instagram. If you want to find my mental health Instagram, the link is in the description below. It's at the comeback KLD, just because it was talked about today. And there's like underscores in between. It's in the description. Go find it. I'm taking a 7-week hiatus right now, but it's a really fun brand. I like it a lot. And if you want to find Emily's stuff, @Guminelli, go literally anywhere, type Guminelli into Google, anything, and you will find her. Or you can go to the description below.
Yeah.
It's super easy to find all of her stuff. The
other thing is, if you go somewhere and type Guminelli and it doesn't show up, you know I'm not there.
It's very, very
also super easy.
Yeah. So anyways, thank you everybody so much for commenting along and for listening to us and helping us process and bringing up new points of view. Yeah, we really appreciate it. So we'll be back on Monday talking about something that we're not about this. This was our episode on this. We'll be talking about something. So thanks, guys.